Welcome to NEXTGames video on how to solo the high-tier mission battlefield Trial by Wind against Garuda. This is one of this month's monthly objectives, so I wanted to make sure I got a video out on it before the end of the month for anyone who still needs to get it done. This fight is very similar to the previous Avatar videos I've done, but the main difference with Garuda is that you need a pet ability in order to remove the physical resistance. This means you will spend the entire fight with the 30% damage reduction up, so this fight will take a little bit longer than some of the previous ones. Let's quickly go over what you'll expect to see in this fight. These are the spells and abilities you'll see Garuda Prime use during your run. First, let's go over the spells. Silenska. This is a very potent Silenska that will affect your trusts, such as Yoran, which normally resist. So make sure you have some remedies ready, because more than likely not, Yoran's going to get silenced for a period of time as well. Another way to deal with this is just to bring your Dancer sub-job, but if you do that, make sure you have your Provoke ready with enough finishing moves so that when you need to use it, you can. The next two spells are Tornado 2 and Arrow 5. Now you actually want her casting these because this is just going to waste her time and allow you to get as much damage in as possible. And the last spell is the risky one, and that is Arrowja. Now if this hits you or your trust, it's going to hit for upwards of 2,500 damage. So one, you want to make sure you have Migawari up at all times. Two, you always want to try and save your Provoke for when she's using Arrowja so that you can interrupt this spell. And three, you want to try and position yourself like I do in my video so that you're hopefully just out of range of your trust so that when this hits you, it does only hit you if you in fact have Provoke down in order to stun her. Now let's talk about her abilities. First is Predator Claws. This is a high physical damage move that will happen to a single target, always you, and that will wipe 3 to 4 of your shadows. So as long as you're always having at least 2 shadows up, you should be just fine. The next one, Windblade, deals high elemental wind damage to a single target. This will hit for up to 2,500 damage. It goes right through your shadows, but it does not wipe them. So just make sure you have up Migawari at all times, and you should be fine surviving this. And then just, of course, get it right back up as soon as this Windblade move eats your Migawari. The third one is Aerial Blast. This is our 2-hour, and this will deal high elemental wind damage to all targets in AoE range, anywhere from 800 to 1,500 damage, and it will wipe your shadows. So make sure you get your shadows up immediately after this is done, because once she uses this, it's going to reset all of the resistances and the end spell damage potency that we talk about later in this video, which means if she hits you, that end spell damage is going to hit you for upwards of 1,000 damage and quite possibly one-shot you. So you need to make sure you get your shadows up immediately after she uses Aerial Blast. The next move she uses is Whispering Wind, and all this is going to do is heal her for about 2,000 hit points. So you actually prefer her using this or Predator Claws over anything else. Garuda has a 30% damage reduction to physical, magical, and ranged resistance, as well as potent and spell damage, just like all the other avatars. To get rid of these bonuses, you'll need to do the following actions while Garuda is casting a spell or readying a TP move. It will then remove that resistance until her next use of Aerial Blast. Please note that this will also stun her for a short period of time, so it's best to save some of these triggers, such as Provoke, for when she is using Arrowja or Aerial Blast in order to interrupt the use of those abilities. To remove her physical resistance, we need to use a pet action when she's readying a TP move or casting. Obviously, we cannot do that with this setup, so as I mentioned before, that means she's going to have this 30% damage reduction up the entire fight to physical resistance. So just know that this means this fight's going to take a few minutes longer than most of the Avatar fights do. Her magical resistance removal is triggered by the use of a weapon skill while she is readying a TP move or casting. Range resistance is removed for using offensive magic while she is readying a TP move or casting. Usually Ursula or Koromoro will take care of that one for you. End spell damage potency reduction is achieved by using an ability when she is readying a TP move. So this is the one that you're normally going to save until when she is going to use Arrowja or Aerial Blast. So that normally means that high damage of end spell is going to be up between her use of Aerial Blast and your Provoke to interrupt her. So that means you need to take special care to make sure you have shadows up at all times, because if she does hit you, it is possible she could one-shot you. Let's go ahead and see how this fight goes. For our trust in this fight, we start with Seth. Now he's there so that whenever she uses that high damage AoE move, it will trigger him to use Rejuvenation and restore HP, MP, and TP to the entire party just when we need it. Olmia is here, so obviously she can cast March on me, but also she'll start using Shizuru as soon as some of these high damage moves start hitting us, which will allow us to mitigate that damage further. Arcelia and Koru are here for help with cures, and to trigger the offensive magic use while she is casting one of her spells or readying one of her TP moves. They'll also get a lot of MBs in for me while I'm doing some of my SCs, so that we can kind of cut through her quicker, considering that her physical resistance is going to be so high. Lastly, of course, we have Yoran here to keep me alive. Enjoy the fight, everyone. So there we go. That wasn't too bad. Obviously it got a little scary there in the middle when I realized I didn't have remedies on me, but we did get through it. My monthly objective is achieved, so I'm now ready for the update at the end of this week, which is when you all will be seeing me next for some more videos on the new ambuscades. Have a great week, everyone.